not just.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Hi guys, you know, it's raining, so Steve couldn't go anywhere today. He's normally in the yard or down in the Keys. So today, Vanya and I grabbed him, and he got his notebook out because he's a little nervous.
I don't know whether I have to take notes or what I'm doing, so this is an adventure.
All right. So we wanted to talk about reverse mortgages. For people who don't know, this gentleman here is Mr. Steve Egan, and he's the owner and also the underwriter at Gulf Atlantic Funding. And this other beautiful person here is Vanya. And I'm a mortgage broker. My name is Dax Dunn.
No, you're not. You're a mortgage lender.
A mortgage
There's
lender.
a difference between a broker and a lender.
All right, there you go. So as mortgage lenders, Steve did not like reverse mortgages.
Correct.
Talk about
You're
reverse
right.
mortgages.
You're right. You want me to talk about
Yeah.
it? Well,
The
the only thing that I remember about reverse mortgages when they came out was the government really didn't allow. Well, what they did was they allowed mortgage brokers. We used to have mortgage brokers come in the office wanting to broker the files, and they were charging people, you know, and they were all senior citizens. You had to be 62 years old, I think, to get it.
Yep.
8 points.
Oh.
And I'd go, get out. I'm all for making a living, but I'm not in the business to just to steal. And
Right.
that to me was stealing. So now I know the government's come out, they've changed it, they finally woke up and they go, whoa, 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 you're taking advantage of senior citizens. And they've changed the program. Now, I know that they've limited now the amount of money that you can make, which is reasonable.
All right, so that's where I jump in because the company can do reverse mortgages. He just doesn't like them, and so our office administrator, she doesn't like them. So we got a company to come in last week. They actually did us a workshop for us, and now the fees are limited to $6,000. But the reason I'm excited is because you can use a reverse mortgage to buy a home. If you're over 62, if your parents are over 62, and they can put down at least, at 62, you probably have to put down 50% or maybe even a little bit more. But you're going to get a mortgage and never make a mortgage payment. You have to pay the taxes and insurance on that property, but you have to live in there, and don't have to make.
Perfect for people moving down
Right.
from New York and
Anywhere.
Yeah, and they're selling the homes. They're on limited retirement income, so they have the money to put down. Being a realtor, I deal with a lot of people like that. So they don't have to put all of it to buy something cash. Have the money left over, and within their retirement income, they can very easily afford a nice home with this program.
Let me make sure that I understand that. What you're saying is now that the program, that the new part now is I can actually purchase a home
As well.
using the reverse mortgage.
Yes.
Okay. How much money do I have to actually put down if I'm going to?
All right. There is a process. The mortgage, there's a table they use, and every mortgage broker or lender will go in and put in, and it's a schedule. So based on your age,
Okay.
it's gonna tell you how much of a down payment is required, and how much of a loan you can get. So it will give you your terms. But the simple terms are: the younger you are, the greater the down payment.
Okay.
If you're 90 years old, I think you can get in with 20% down. Don't quote me on those numbers, but it's a much lower down payment for a older person.
Okay. Well, somebody 90 years old, chances of using the program is slim to none.
No, it's
But
great.
suppose-
You're 90
suppose
years old living in New York on Social Security, and you want to get out of the cold and get down to Florida. You have all of that equity sitting in your house. You can just bring it down here, make a down
okay,
payment,
and then-
you don't have to qualify. No income qualifying. If you have no credit qualifying, if you have bad credit, you can still use the program. You just have to be over 62, and the property has to be a FHA loan.
Let's say that I'm 68, 70 range.
Yeah.
So then at that point, I probably have to put about 30%
Yep,
down.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so if I
completely-
still have a cash flow and I bring it down here and I put it into the home, I have it in there, and then I can actually start taking it out again.
No, you can't. You won't take it out because you're not making a monthly payment.
Right.
So you can't. You're just living payment free except for taxes and insurance.
Okay. All right.
Because you don't have a mortgage, it's a reverse mortgage. You got the house, they paid off for you to buy that house. Great.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a great tool because I work with a lot of people that are selling their homes in New York and New Jersey, and they have the money. It's always a question of how to qualify them for a nice house, and rightfully speaking, what they can get here for say 300,000 compared to what they sold there, it's night and day. They love these nice homes. But I always feel bad because it's like bringing them from one situation to another, because now they have to always have the money to pay for it and pay per month, and this gives them much needed see, we all are living a lot longer these days, and I think for the kids it's a great tool to be able to know that there is this tool that can take care of the parents versus
Mom and dad sitting in a house and they don't want to move them. The kids don't want to move them. They know that when the mom and dad passes, they'll get the house. So for now, they'll incur the costs, taking care of them, you know. But usually they're in too much house and there's tons of equity trapped in the house. But eventually you'll get it for the kids.
Gotcha.
But if you could get a reverse mortgage now and access those funds and not put so much pressure on yourself to take care of the house, there will still be equity there. A lot of people think a reverse mortgage means you give up the house. You don't give up the house at all. Agree?
And that was the stereotype. Everybody thought
Yeah,
they were
and
losing
lots
their
of
equity, they're
things.
losing the house.
Right.
Well, now what happens if God forbid that the spouse dies and the wife's still living?
All of those things, in the newer programs, they've made adjustments for that. So you qualify based on, you used to have to qualify based on the youngest person in the house. Now you can actually qualify based on the older person with an agreement that after the older person passes away, you have a year to reorganize. Either you sell the house, or the younger person could now qualify for their own reverse mortgage and buy out the existing reverse mortgage. So
Right. Suppose that person isn't 62 years old, the
Right.
surviving spouse.
Right.
Can they still?
they have a year. They have a year to sell the house or refinance it. So they're not thrown out of the house.
All right. Very good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So they got some breathing room.
yeah, I like that part.
Well, you were talking about people qualifying,
Yeah.
and it's something I see you do all the time. I actually think Gulf Atlantic can get you a mortgage approved faster than anybody else in South Florida. What do you think about that idea?
Well, to me, when you're getting involved in a mortgage, it's like building a house. You have to be prepared for what you're doing. So, all of us, Vanya, myself, you, when we're sitting with an individual, before we even sit with an individual, what we're doing is we're saying, look, we need you to bring in your tax returns, we need your pay stub, we need your bank statement, we pull up the credit report, we review the debts on there. Unfortunately, you guys know we're not human beings anymore, we're just all credit scores. So there's times where we have to put the people into a simulator in order to get their credit up. So by the time, when we're working with a real estate agent, by the time Vanya has a file showing a property, we already have everything.
Yeah.
We already have a desktop approval. So
Okay. But I have to show you something with you. There are people watching this show or this video who have excellent credit.
good.
They have fantastic income. They've been on the job for 10 years. We just need 2 years of history of employment.
Right.
They have the deposits, 5-10%
Yes,
down. It's
right.
been sitting in the bank, and they think that their bank or credit union is a quicker option.
No, I have to speak now because I'll forget otherwise. But with being as a lender and a realtor with Gulf Atlantic, I can totally vouch for that. I'm currently working with a couple who was with another lender and they want to get a VA loan. And it's been 3.5 months that they did not get an answer. They hired me as a realtor. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I said, what is really going on? And they were told they cannot get the VA loan. And I said, why? Did you ask these questions? And they had no answers. And unfortunately, that lender wouldn't give them back their original eligibility certificate. So I counsel them long story short, brought everything to our underwriters at Gulf Atlantic. They reviewed everything, and our underwriter right there and then explained to me that this is doable provided XXX is addressed. And I went right back to the buyer, something that they've wasted 3.5 months on. Tomorrow we have 2 showings, our second showing, and I'm pretty sure we're going to pick something. The reason I'm making that point is that there's a lot of realtors watching this as well. And it has happened to me so many times when I have a listing and I'm getting offers. And those realtors that are putting offers, when I ask them the right questions, being a lender that I know, and they go back to the lender who's doing it, they can't get the answers. They end up coming to
Right.
Gulf Atlantic, because at the end of the day, it's about closing for the consumer, so they can, for the seller, so they can get paid, for the buyer, so they can get the home, and for the realtor to get paid. So I think this concept of in-house underwriting is the bomb, and it's a very cozy team we have. So it's not like another case I have where I referred them to their credit union, and you would think why I did that, and I did that because it was a bit of a complicated loan, and they were buying an investment property, so I referred them, and it's been about 4 weeks. They have not heard anything back. Which so then we do investment loans at Gulf Atlantic, but our criteria is different. So the buyer made the decision to say it's worth it for me to come and do it with you, and I'm thank you for telling me for my credit union, but they can't hear back from them
Right.
after supplying everything. So those things.
But I want to be clear though. You're talking about being a lender of last resort, meaning so you
No,
can't
no,
get
no.
through. But I'm saying right up front, the person who's thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the credit union or Quicken, some online
Box store.
box store. We can do it faster than them."
Well, one of the advantages with us using our own funds is we follow the manual that HUD puts out, or Fannie Mae puts out, or the
Yeah.
Veterans Affairs put out. We have no overlays. The bigger the company, the more people get involved with the file, the more overlays they have.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of lenders say, "Oh, we do Fannie Mae loans, which are the conventionals, or we do FHAs," but they hate. Well, our underwriter has an overlay. They want to see cash reserve after closing, or they want to see a minimum score of 680 or 700, where we don't have that. Whether it's a Fannie Mae loan, conventional,
Right.
5% down, or if it's an FHA or a Veterans Affairs loan, we follow the guidelines that the federal government puts out.
Right.
We don't make other things up. The government has enough overlays. We don't need to add more overlays.
Exactly. Well, I don't know what else. Anything else you want to talk
Now,
about?
you were talking about the speed with this thing. You have to remember that the government, after the crash of 2008, did put restrictions on closings.
Right.
It used to be where if you could close a file within the first 7 days, which we did once, the government now has said you have to wait 7 business days before you close a loan. So now you have that. The other thing that they've come up with is the CD. The CD is the closing disclosure. And now what the government wants is they want the buyer to have that for a minimum of 3 working days to review it.
Right.
So what we're doing over at Gulf Atlantic is, after we have the file approved, we have Karen in the office that's coordinating with the title companies. With 30 closings a month, we probably use, unfortunately, 25 different agencies. Now, what I mean by agencies is whether it's lawyers or title companies. Some title companies are fantastic. When we do have lawyers involved, they overcharge fees, and then we have to go back and say, we've reviewed your CD, and these are unacceptable charges, and we make them remove these charges. So that becomes delays. So when somebody says, "Oh, I can close a loan in 15 days," well, you could, if all of the stars are in line.
Well, or if you have Vanya running the show.
Right,
Because
with a whip.
No, I don't know, but she makes sure everything.
You know what it is? It's the peace of mind.
But you can't control other people.
Yeah.
She
Well,
controls it.
No, but it's knowing that we have a clear to close.
Yes.
That's a big peace of mind for the seller who doesn't want to make the next payment, for the buyer who wants to get the moving arranged and
All
everything.
right, that we can do in
We
10
can-
days. We
that-
can do that in 10
yeah,
days.
I've done it
because
like-
we've already done our preparation.
Exactly.
Right.
We already have everything
All the
in.
heavy lifting. Before I take anybody out to look at the first home, I have never done that. That I take them out without the underwriters at Gulf Atlantic blessing the everything to say it's a go. And it takes, the best part about it that I get the feedback from the clients is that it takes away the element of that last minute surprise that you told me it's going to be 1,800 and now the payment is 2,100. What happened? Things do come up, when we send out the verifications, but
Right.
I don't think anything that is so out of the ordinary.
We're not skipping any steps.
No.
We're just coordinating and letting them
It's very
know.
organized
Yeah.
and
Right.
Okay. So,
It's the old saying, everybody's got to be going in the same direction. All of our ships must go in the same direction.
yes. Somebody has to lead it. Vanya leads.
And the rest of the ships are right behind.
Exactly.
I don't care who leads, you lead.
All right. So, I don't know, man. It's Labor Day. What
Labor
is
Day.
the rain has stopped.
It has stopped.
Yeah, but we're still too wet to cut the lawn.
Oh, read about
I
it.
want to
Canoe.
make a point though.
Yes.
Something has changed in the market, and right now, about I would say 90% of people that I'm working with are buying duplexes and triplexes that they are going to be renting them out. Maybe live on one side, rent the other two, or maybe buy to rent it
Sure.
out. Yeah. So I'm so excited because real estate has become such a lucrative investment right now. We're selling duplexes and triplexes somewhere in the range of 300 to 350 depending upon the area, with literally 7 to 8% cap rate. There is no other investment where you can get that kind of return on your money. With the careful, obviously, planning, you don't want to buy something that doesn't have that kind of rate of return. But anybody out there that is ready to retire, I think it's something one should really, really look into about getting an investment property. Rents are only going to go higher and higher.
And a veteran can actually buy income property and still have no money down.
Yep.
Okay, see. So, and the other thing too is a lot of people out there, they say, well, I've already used my VA benefits, so I can't.
Yeah.
And the Veterans Affairs that allows you to use your benefits over and over again, as long as the first mortgage is satisfied, or you can even have 2 VA mortgages as long as you have enough eligibility left on your certificate. And the way we find that out is to stare at your certificate and say, yes, you can keep this home, rent it out, even though it's a VA loan, and you can buy another home using the remainder of your entitlements on another property. And with that, like I said, the duplex and triplex, no money down. FHA, the limit's what? It's higher on a
It's
duplex.
higher on the duplex. And
Almost
the-
400,000 on a
yeah.
duplex, and you can get in with 3.5% down.
the-
So we went from reverse mortgages to buying a house. You guys
to
still
investment. No, but what
Yeah, sorry about that.
the difference in the still in the rents and the way the prices have gone up is at such a sweet spot right now, which I don't know if it's going to stay there much longer. Rents are only going to go up to, and so will the property prices. But today, I just worked on a deal where they can get this duplex for $338,000. They're going to be putting 20% down. Their monthly payment without taxes and insurance is roughly about $1,400 a month. Each side of that duplex rents for $1,600.
You have
See-
so much joy to discuss this. You just love the numbers.
So really, they're living there for nothing.
Well, yeah, well, these guys are actually buying
Yeah.
it for investment, Steve. So after everything, after
Okay.
all said and done, between $1,400 to $1,600 per month is coming their way. That they're just enjoying that, plus building the equity. Now the beauty of it is their payment is going to remain the same because we only do fixed rate loans at Gulf, but the rents are going to gradually go up.
Yep.
So I can't think of any other investment out there that would put that much money in your pocket. And sure, they're coming up with about 25%. So
I'm ready to buy.
Yeah, it's Labor Day. You're saving us some work. We're going to make some investments.
75,000 you put down to make about 1,500 a month. There is no investment that can give you that rate of return.
All right, so if you're an individual and you have parents, there's information here for you. If you're an individual who owns a home I'm sure you found some value in this. If you don't own a home, reach out. We'd love to help you. You know, we'll run it by Steve, figure out what you need to do, and let you know. You don't have nothing to lose. You can come by the office. You don't have to come here. Our office,
Come here, no problem.
our office is by Sterling and University. What's it?
We're right between Griffin Road and Sterling Road.
Right,
Yeah.
right off of University. And you can come in, it's open 9 to 5, but don't walk in. Just call and set an appointment, and then Vanya and I can meet you there. Steve, we'll get him. You can't just walk in and talk to Steve.
Yes, you can.
No, but come on, give us let us know how we can help you. And last but not least, be well. You know, we're all about wellness. Steve as well. Steve and I go to the gym, you know, and I can't keep up with him. In terms of yard work, he is Superman. So you're amazing, man.
He wants something. I can tell he wants something.
No. All right, guys. Anything, Vanya, in closing?
No, people know I'm excited about this. If you're looking to retire and you have money coming your way through 401k or whatever, it is so worth it to sit down with a professional who understands real estate, who understands the cap rate.
Wait, we're not in a hurry. You want to talk about tiny houses?
That's your project.
Tiny house.
You inspired me. This, how big is this house?
It's 1,000 square feet.
All right, 1,000 square feet. Yeah, and he can afford to live in a bigger house.
I don't need a fancy dining room, a fancy living room. I've been there.
Well,
Done that.
It's
Not interested.
fancy kitchen.
That's it. You've now seen
Half
two-thirds of the house.
You know, I have learned this from Steve. I have, and I really admire you. That the bigger
Now
you
she
get,
wants something.
the more humble you are, the financially or anyhow, the bigger you get in life, the more and more, you know, the way your lifestyle, your way of living is so humble. And I asked Steve once that why didn't you buy a Ferrari or a Bentley? And I was surprised with this answer. Oh, I'll be so embarrassed to come out of it. I'm happy with my pickup. So I went and got a pickup.
Guys, listen. Tiny living, minimalistic living, living simple, using what you need, enjoying life. You know, so it's been such a pleasure sharing. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, you kidding? My
I
pleasure.
appreciate
It's fun.
it. Honey? All right. So we're going to go, but as I say, you know where we are. Reach out to us. Anything we can do to help you, we'd love to do it. Stay well.